Set 16 introduces 40 new unlockable champions, which completely transform how you play the game. Some massively spike your early board, some unlock powerful 5 costs, and some enable entirely new compositions. This video will go over all the quest units from 2 to 7 cost and break down when to unlock them and how to make the most of this set's mechanic. The first set of units are the easy unlocks. These units have simple unlock conditions that can be met in most games. Poppy is a 2-cost tank. To unlock her, you'll need to place 2 items on a Yordle or Demacia unit. For all item-based unlocks, components count, so 1 Gargoyle Stoneplate and 1 bow counts for quest activation. After a round, you'll find her in your next shop. As with every other quest unlock, conditions can be met on monster combat rounds. So if you have only tank items and a Lulu, you can move them to Lulu on 2-7 and unlock Poppy without sacrificing a round. You want to unlock Poppy whenever you can. Early defenders tend to play around Jarvan, and if you have Jarvan plus Poppy, it's easy to fit in a 3rd Demacia unit like Sona to make a strong board early game. Poppy is also good to have with a 2-star Briar or 2-star Blitzcrank if you don't have another good Juggernaut to play. She tends to be better than Cho'Gath early game if you don't need him to activate Void. Make sure you have Poppy going to stage 4 at the latest when playing vertical Demacia because you'll need her to activate Juggernaut for your Swain. Yorick is a 2-cost tank. To unlock him, you'll need to place 2 items on a Viego 2 for 1 combat. Basically, anytime you're playing around Viego, you'll want to unlock Yorick, even if you're not playing around Shadow Isle for the entire game. If you have a Warden, Yorick is a pretty good tank on stage 2 and 3. If not, try to play an additional frontline pair like 2 Bruisers or 2 Defenders, in addition to Viego and Yorick. 2 Shadow Isle is a pretty strong trait, and Yorick has both a Chill and Mana Reave in his kit, which can cripple enemy tanks. If you plan on committing to Shadow Isles, Yorick will be played on the board for the whole game. Tryndamere is a 2-cost AD fighter. To unlock, you'll need to place 2 items on Ashe for 1 combat. He is good for unlocking 3 Freljord to make strongest board in the early game, as Freljord is a strong early game trait. Tryndamere is also good for holding bruiser items like Sterak's or BT. He's also a good Slayer to synergize with Briar 2 if you already have her, and can be useful to unlock if you want to play 4 Slayers in the mid-game. Lastly, he is necessary to have if you want to play 7 Freljord without a spat, and for fielding 5 Freljord if you happen to high roll a Braum or Lysandra. Graves is also a 2-cost AD fighter. To unlock him, you'll need to place 2 items on Twisted Fate for 1 combat. Graves is good for unlocking 3 Bilgewater to begin farming for Serpents, to start printing copies of units, stats for your pirates, and Bilgewater specific items. If you're going to play Bilgewater, it's really important to field it early, which means you want to unlock Graves as soon as you can. If you do not plan on playing Bilgewater as your endgame comp, it's better to not unlock Graves and just field Nautilus, TF, and Yalawi to farm some gold before you pivot out of the trait. To unlock Orianna, you'll need to field 3 unique Piltover units on your board. If you ever want to play 4 Piltover, you can unlock her to have a decent unit to play. The Piltover opener doesn't have many good AP holders until Seraphine. So if you begin with AP items and Loris, try to unlock Orianna right away to have a good holder for JG or Archangel's Staff. Mana items like Shojin or Blue Buff can be held well by Caitlyn, so you should play better frontline and a Kog'Maw instead of unlocking Orianna and playing 4 Piltover. A lot of the 4-piece traits are not stronger than playing 2+2 on levels 4 and 5, and Piltover is one of them. Kennen is one of the strongest consistent unlocks in the game. He has 3 excellent traits and fits on a wide variety of boards, including a lot of boards for a certain powerful unlockable legendary units. Kennen is good to unlock if you're ever in need of an Ionia or Defender to hit your next trait breakpoint, usually 5 Ionia or 4 Defender. Kennen is unlocked by fielding 8-star levels of Ionians, Defenders, or Yordles. It can be 8-star levels of any combination of those 3 traits. For example, if your board consists of Poppy 2, Rumble 2, Lulu 2, and Teemo 2, you'll unlock Kennen the next turn. Kobuko and Yuumi is one of the utility-focused units added to the set. You'll need 6-star levels of Yordles, Bruisers, or Invokers to unlock them, as well as being at least level 7. 2-star Anivia, 2-star Scion, and 2-star Poppy fielded together will get you there. Because of their unlock condition, Kobuko and Yuumi tends to be pretty good to just play on your board after you cash it out, often replacing a weaker Bruiser or weaker Invoker. Just by fielding them, you'll get healing on low health allies, as well as attack speed on your main carry. LeBlanc is unlocked by equipping 2 items to Scion for 1 combat. She is also a great AP item holder, on par with a lot of 2-star 1 costs. It is never wrong to unlock her for 3 Noxus during stage 1, since early Noxian champions can hold every item respectively. She is also good to have when playing around vertical Noxus and Bessa prior to unlocking Mel, as she's the best 5th Noxian you can play. She's also useful to have if you want to play 7 Noxus, so if you plan on doing either of these, make sure to unlock her before you roll down on 4-2 for your end game board. Diana is a super strong unit that can basically be fit on many boards. She's an excellent TG holder and provides both damage and utility. To unlock Diana, you'll need to equip 3 items to a Leona 2 at level 6 or higher, meaning you can access her quite early into the game. Unlocking Diana is never a bad idea. There are many situations where an extra utility unit on your board is exactly what you need. Even on level 9, she is a strong unit you can play on level 9 boards, only beaten by 5 costs like Fiddlesticks, Sett, and Shyvana. Make no mistake, you do not need to be playing Ixtal to be playing Skarner on your board. Skarner is unlocked by equipping a Gargoyle Stoneplate on a non-tank for 1 round at level 7 or higher. Most people unlock Skarner as soon as they can to hit 5 Ixtal and begin healing. What people tend to overlook is unlocking Skarner if they do not have a great tank on their board. Skarner 1 is better than basically every 2-cost 2-star tank, and Skarner 2 is better than most other 4-cost tanks. His CC and tankiness help stonewall melee carries such as Aatrox, Bel'Veth, or Ambessa who could otherwise run your board over. In those matchups, try to position him in front of the melee threats. Kaisa is unlocked by equipping 3 items to any longshot unit on level 8. Most commonly, you'll be going level 8 on 4-2 with 3 items on Teemo, Caitlyn, or Kog'Maw. In these situations, it's very important to only level on that turn and not roll so you can actually hit your Kaisa while you're rolling. On low HP, it can be worth it to level on 4-1 to unlock Kaisa and do your roll down and preserve the life on 4-2. It's important to know about Kaisa's unique trait, Assimilator. She changes spells based on if she has more AD or AP. AD Kaisa is a caster and AP Kaisa is an attack speed carry, which means you should consider Kaisa much more heavily if you have the right set of items for her 2 version, Shojin plus AD items or Rageblade plus AP items. The boss Sett is one of the strongest individual units in the game. He's capable of throwing tanks, dealing true damage, dueling multiple units at the ends of fights. He is unlocked by fielding exactly 1 unit in the front 2 rows for 1 combat on level 8. If you're playing any amount of Ionia units, you should always unlock Sett the turn you hit level 8. Fielding only 1 unit in the front row is not actually likely to make you lose, so you can happily just unlock Sett on 4-2 while doing the rest of the turn mostly normally, including rolling most of your gold as you would in a normal 4-cost comp. If you don't have a good unit to play on your board, or you're planning on going straight to 9, it can be great to unlock Sett to fill a slot and provide some free frontline, damage, and utility. Aatrox is the last of the easy unlocks. Aatrox is a strong and quite flexible carry who can fit on a very wide variety of boards. To unlock him, you'll need to begin a combat with at least 40% Omnivamp on a unit while being level 8 or higher. The easiest way to achieve this is to have a BT and a Hand of Justice on a Slayer. If you are missing any one of these 3 pieces, you will not have enough Omnivamp. BT gives 20%, Hand of Justice gives 12%, and 2 Slayer gives 10%. A Gunblade can be used to substitute for the Hand of Justice, but not the BT. Additionally, you can use 2 BTs and equip them on any unit. Darken artifacts are also good for unlocking Aatrox, as they give the holder the Darken trait, which provides 15% Omnivamp. Aatrox is an excellent carry anytime you have a healing item and a Titan's Resolve. If you have those 2 pieces, you should go for the second healing item with the intention of unlocking Aatrox on level 8 and carrying him for most of the game. The specific items he holds, 2 healing plus Titans, tends to not be that good on most other units, so know that you are committing to the Aatrox plan most of the time when the second healing item is built. Now with the easy unlocks out of the way, next are the more situational unlocks. Many of these require more specific conditions that are unrealistic to achieve every game, or not useful in a wide variety of situations. While you can expect to use many of the unlocks in the previous section in one game, it would be quite rare to use more than 2 of these in a single game. Nonetheless, they are still useful to know, as their rarity only makes them more powerful. A simple yet transformative unlock champ. To unlock Bard, you need to roll 4 times before the stage 2 carousel. This can be done with either gold or free rolls. Bard is generally not economically worth it to unlock if you have to roll actual gold with no other sources of econ. Being 0 interest for more turns on stage 2 tends to cause you to be poor for most of the game. Extra gold or free rolls makes it much better to play for Bard. When fielded, Bard provides a random unit upon win, and reroll scaling with stage upon loss. On stage 2, you gain 1 reroll each loss and 1 more per stage. If you're very rich, with 20 plus gold on 2-1, you can roll for Bard with hopes of generating more gold throughout the game than if you didn't have him. Bard is also a fairly strong AP carry in the early game, comparable to some 2-star 1 costs. He's especially strong when you can win streak through stage 2 and acquire more of your losses on stage 3 or 4 as they reward more gold. Most commonly, you'll be rolling for Bard in a reroll comp that utilizes him well. As of making this video, there's a Bruiser Scion comp going around that uses Bard as a backline carry. You could also unlock Bard by making aggressive econ, then rolling 4 times on 2-3 to avoid damaging early econ too much. Darius is unlocked when Draven farms 1 gold through his passive, which requires him to get 11 takedowns. If you have Draven on 2-1, you'll typically unlock Darius by 2-5 or 2-6. When you unlock Darius, it's usually a good idea to buy and field him. His base spell is pretty strong, and Darius plus LeBlanc give you the earliest possible access to 5 Noxus, which rarely loses on stage 3. If you're playing for 7 Noxus, you'll need to have Darius to reach the breakpoint before you have Ambessa 2 and can unlock Mel. As the game progresses, it becomes harder and harder to unlock Darius without specifically itemizing Draven, so try to get it done earlier if you know you're playing Noxus in the mid to late game. Gwen is unlocked by collecting 20 souls through the Shadow Isles trait. 1 soul is collected anytime any unit dies. If you field Shadow Isles on 2-1, you can typically expect to unlock Gwen by early stage 3. Gwen is a fairly strong 3-cost AP melee carry and is typically a fairly good unit to play upon level up for boards carrying Viego. If you high roll Gwen too, you can move most sets of Viego items to Gwen and she'll do a good job carrying. Kalista is the next unlock in the Shadow Isles line. Kalista is unlocked by collecting 75 souls. She is the 4-cost carry of the Isles, meaning she will be your main carry for most of the game if you are playing Shadow Isles as your endgame. Same with the other Shadow Isles units, you can always pivot out of the trait entirely when you get to 9 and move their items to 5-cost units such as Senna or Azir. Rift Herald is unlocked by fielding 2 or more Void units for 8 rounds. She's a decent tank for the Void comp, and doubles as a good tank in comps running 4 or 6 Bruiser instead of Vertical Void. Even if you don't plan on playing her the whole game, if you get Void in on 2-1, you'll cash her out on 3-5, which gives you a decent 4 cost to play until you roll down for your endgame board on 4-2. Singed is the low roll out, which you have access to if you lose a lot in the early game. Singed is unlocked when you field 4 total Juggernauts or Zaahen units after you've lost 35 or more HP. Knowing about the Singed out completely changes how you approach the early game. If your spot is bad, you always have the option to hold your components and build towards healing and AP to itemize Singed as your mid to late game carry. Because of this, I would be very wary of playing for Singed if you aren't losing much HP early, because one of the low HP players should be highly incentivized to play towards him. But if you are losing, make sure to be holding all the Juggernauts and Zaahen units you see to get him right away on 3-1 or 3-2. Warwick is unlocked by fielding a Jinx and 2-star Vi on level 7 or higher. If you're 1 Vi or Jinx off from meeting his unlock condition, highly consider rolling right away to unlock Warwick as soon as possible. He's quite a strong carry on stage 3 and stage 4 if you have items for him, and has the bonus of powering up your Vi and Jinx. If your board doesn't normally run Vi and Jinx, it's basically not worth the hassle to try to unlock him. Having Warwick lets you hit 7 Zaahen on level 7, which is a fairly strong trait through most of the game. Fizz is unlocked by fielding 5 Yordle or Bilgewater units on level 7 or higher. If you're playing Bilgewater or Yordle, you'll always want to unlock Fizz. He's good on stage 3 and stage 4 with a TG, or if you have extra AP items, and will randomly win you fights by assassinating backline. If you're not playing around Yordles or Bilgewater units, it's generally not worth it to try to unlock Fizz. Targons such as Leona or Zoe are better to play to fill open slots. Nasus, Renekton, and Xerath are all unlocked over time while fielding Azir. Nasus is unlocked by losing 2 rounds, Renekton is unlocked by winning 2 rounds, and Xerath is unlocked by alternating wins and losses for 3 rounds, so win-loss, win, or loss-win-loss. After each unlock, the Shurima unit becomes more difficult to unlock. Each Shuriman is the strongest unit in the game of its class. Nasus is the strongest tank, Renekton is the strongest fighter, and Xerath is the strongest AP caster. In most circumstances, Xerath is the best one to unlock. When fielded, every turn you will see a charm in your shop that you can purchase for resources or combat power, just like Sett 12. He's also directly stronger than Azir with most sets of items at equal star level. If your board is strong, you can sacrifice a round after your first win to try to find Xerath, or you can sacrifice the round after a loss and a win to guarantee the Xerath. After Xerath, both Nasus and Renekton are strong, depending on the items you have. If you have bruiser items like BT, QSS, and Steraks, Renekton is the better unlock. Otherwise, Nasus is always strong because you almost always have tank items to give him. Thresh is unlocked by collecting 150 souls. He'll naturally unlock if you're playing a lot of Shadow Isles on your board. When you unlock him, place him on your board and you got a great AP fighter for your comp. Mel Sol is unlocked by having a 2-star Ambessa with 1 or more items die in combat. She's a strong unit to splash on most boards, even without any items. If your comp normally plays Ambessa, you always want to try to unlock Mel even if you aren't actually carrying Ambessa. Typically when you unlock Mel, you keep her on the board for the entire game, pairing her with Swain and 1 more Noxian for 3 Noxus in the late game. If your comp doesn't normally run Ambessa, typically you don't try to unlock Mel. Galio is unlocked by fielding 12-star levels of Demacia units. With no 3-stars, you'll need to have 5 upgrades and 2 1-stars, as well as having Poppy unlocked already. Galio is really important to unlock in every vertical Demacia comp, because it lets you drop a unit on your board to fit higher quality units, since Galio starts the fight from the bench. If you don't plan on ending on any Demacia units, unlocking Galio is useless, since he needs 3 Demacia active to jump into battle. To unlock Volibear, you'll need to field a unit with over 3,800 HP on level 8 or higher. He is a must unlock if you're trying to play any comp with 3 or more Freljord or Vertical Bruiser comp. It's really easy to unlock him in Vertical Bruiser, but it can be more difficult if you're playing around 2 Bruisers. Here's exactly what you'll need to unlock him. Right now, Wukong has 1050 health at 1-star and 1890 health at 2-star. 2 Bruiser provides 150 flat HP and a 1.25 multiplier on their current health. With this, Wukong gets to 1500 HP at 1-star and 2550 at 2-star. With 3 Freljord active, most combinations of 3 belt items or Dragon's Claw will get your Wukong up to 3800 HP. 1 Warmogs is also sufficient. If you don't have enough belt items or a Warmogs, you can raise the number of Freljords or Bruisers you play on your board to meet the threshold. T-Hex is unlocked by fielding 9 Piltover star levels for 1 combat. To reach this, you need all 4 low-cost Piltover units upgraded, then either one of them 3-star or a 1-star Seraphine. T-Hex is good to unlock if you're in need of a frontline melee carry. If you don't have items for him, it's probably not a good idea to go for the T-Hex since you also have to commit a unit to pilot him, which can make your board weaker if you don't invest in your dino. Your opener must be a Piltover heavy opener with an early Loris and Caitlyn too, otherwise you'd never consider going for the dino. Tahm Kench is unlocked by spending 500 Silver Serpents in the shop. The more Bilgewater units you play throughout the game, the faster you'll be able to unlock Tahm Kench. Most of the time, you don't play to unlock Tahm Kench unless you started with Bilgewater on 2-1 or 2-2. TK is a strong unit to play around after you've unlocked him. He can print you gold or components and can displace tanks by eating them whole. Unlocking TK doesn't mean you need to stay on 7 or even 5 Bilgewater the entire game. You can easily drop down to 3 and play better units such as various 5 costs like Senna, Fiddlesticks, and Shyvana. Usually it is worth it to feed TK every turn if you have items to power him up. Last of the situational units, Ziggs is unlocked by fielding a Yordle or Zaunite with 3 items on level 9. He's designed as an AP caster who launches a big bomb on the whole board. He's a strong unit to cap out both the vertical Zaun and vertical Yordle boards if you have items for him. Without items, he doesn't do much as most late game fights end before he can cast. I would not recommend playing or unlocking him without already playing many Yordles or Zaunites since he's highly dependent on his traits to deal enough damage. These units require very specific conditions that you need to plan your entire game in order to unlock and play around them. You need to know the conditions beforehand and learn both when you can and should play for these unlocks. Nidalee requires you to field 2 2-star Nikos on your board to unlock. Since her untargetability is tied to Nico staying alive, you typically should also plan 3-star Nico by rolling significant amounts of gold on level 6 or 7. Nidalee is a pretty strong Ixtal unit and helps get you earlier access to 5 Ixtal, which requires both her and Skarner to reach. I would recommend only playing for Nidalee when you begin the game with 3 Ixtal, as well as high-rolling early copies of Nico. If you spend too much time rolling for Nico 3, you won't have enough gold to improve your board on level with higher cost units. I would want Nico 2 before 3-2 without rolling, to even consider playing for Nidalee. Veigar is unlocked by placing 2 Rabadon's death caps on the same unit at level 7 or higher. If you are playing Yordles, Veigar is quite good to unlock as he allows you to have a strong, consistent 4-cost carry in a line that normally doesn't have one. Since 2 Rabadon's death caps requires 4 rods to make, there's only 2 ways to reliably acquire them. First are augments that give you specific components such as Pandora's items or replication, or you can start with a rod and hope your component anvil encounter drops you 2 rods. You could also lost streak and take 2 rods off the first 2 carousels, but even then you probably won't find enough rods fast enough. Veigar is ideally acquired on 3-5 when you level to 7. It's quite important to only play for him when you can unlock him early because he needs kills to stack up AP. Yone is the reward you get for 3-starring your Yasuo. Sharing the same trait, Yone buffs your Yasuo by by giving him additional applications of his spell when he ults. When you play Yasuo reroll, you play Yone, if not, you don't. Just keep in mind that you'll need a board slot for him when you hit your Yasuo 3. Aurelion Sol is unlocked by fielding all 5 Targon units on the board at once. Aphelios, Leona, and Zoe are easy to find. It's Taric and Diana that are difficult. Since Aurelion Sol is a stacking carry, you want to acquire him as early as possible so you can begin to scale. Because of this, you'll only want to play for Aurelion Sol when you meet the following criteria. You natural at least 1 Leona, you have Econ from the portal or an augment, and you have at least 2 of the right items for Aurelion Sol right away. If you meet all 3, you should be able to level to 7 on 3-5 and roll, hoping to hit 2-star Leona, stopping when you can unlock the Asol. At that point, you can elect to push levels or reroll for 3-star Targons. Sylas is unlocked by selling a 2-star Jarvan, 2-star Lux, and 2-star Garen over the course of a game. Do not get baited. If you're playing a Lux Garen comp, you cannot sell your main upgraded tank and main upgraded carry without having a plan for replacing them with high quality units. Sylas can be played on any board where you normally run Nico, and he's a great endgame replacement to improve your board. Even if you don't have very good items for him, the 1-star provides good enough utility to justify rolling for him. Keep in mind it can be very difficult to find Jarvan 2 on level 9, so if you're level 9 with no copies of Jarvan, it's fine to give up on going for Sylas. If you're very low on HP, you shouldn't spend too much gold holding Lux and Garen for Sylas, since you'll need the gold to hit your other units quickly. And playing for Sylas isn't worth the risk if you don't have enough HP to live until you can hit Sylas too. It's much better to play for Sylas if you have a duplicator available while you're rolling. Ryze is unlocked by fielding 4 region traits in for 1 round on level 9 or higher. Usually when playing for Ryze, you want to level to 9 on 4-7, with a lot of gold and cash out your Ryze without rolling yet. You need to play some specific units in order to activate traits to empower him, and some of those units are lower cost, which can be hard to find on level 9. Here's the easiest way to cash out Ryze: Xinjiao, Poppy, and Kennen. It's very important that if you're playing for Ryze, that you unlock Kennen and Poppy before 4-1. Then you will need 1 Ionia unit, 1 Demacia unit, it can be anyone, and 1 Targon unit. This will activate 3 Demacia, 3 Ionia, 2 Yordle, and 1 Targon. Typically, you only play for Ryze if you're playing through AP items and an opener that can unlock Kennen without too much difficulty, either defenders or Ionians. Ryze will be powerful throughout the set, and his strong boards will change as they are discovered, but this is the easiest way you can cash out Ryze and then roll for your strongest Ryze board on 9. The other way to play Ryze is as an extra unit to cap certain boards. Some boards naturally field 3 region traits on level 8, which allows you to field a Targon unit on 9 and unlock Ryze without much hassle. The last 3 units are the cash out behemoths of the set. They have very difficult unlock conditions and are very powerful when unlocked. Brock is unlocked by cashing out 500 Ixtal stacks. When beginning with Ixtal on 2-1, your goal is always to cash out Brock by completing the highest value quests you can fulfill. If you get Ixtal with less than 90 HP, I would not angle for Brock. Brock is super powerful when unlocked. Equip bruiser items like BT, Sterax, IE, and GS, and watch him roll over your opponents. Zaahen is unlocked by fielding a 3-star Xinjiao hero for 5 rounds. After 5 rounds, he'll take Xinjiao's place and consume him, unlocking a powerful 2-star 7-cost champion, capable of killing any unit in the game. Baron Nashor is the capstone of the vertical Void comp. To unlock him, you'll need to be level 10, and to field all 7 other Void units on the board at once. Baron takes up 2 team slots, and counts as 2 for the Void trait, activating 9 Void when he's fielded. You should only go for Baron if you have a quick way of getting to 10. Augments like Level Up or Win Out can help you get there without taking too long. He makes the board a lot stronger and helps your otherwise weak comp contend with other strong late game boards.